Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video we're going to be doing a little bit of technical analysis on Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency markets, but more specifically we're also going to be talking about a continuation of a news story that I'm sure you guys are all familiar with. If you've been following the channel, or indeed just cryptocurrency news in general over the last 6 months or so, you will have heard the name Bakkt. Now, what is Bakkt? Bakkt is essentially going to be an institutional grade Bitcoin exchange regulated by the US government and basically an exchange where people in traditional finance markets can go and trade Bitcoin in what they would perceive to be a much safer, much more regulated environment. Honestly, guys, we talked about Bakkt when it was first announced. Originally, it was supposed to launch in December. That has been delayed, and it's been delayed a couple of times, but honestly, that was the most bullish piece of news that came to Bitcoin for that entire year. And the fact that Bakkt hasn't launched yet just means that we have another major bullish news story coming soon on the horizon in the launch of actual Bakkt. Now, since Bakkt has been delayed, there have been a lot of news stories coming out of it. There have been a lot of developments. But in today's video, we're going to be talking about a development as it relates to Bakkt hiring people, because a lot of people have probably been wondering where Bakkt is because Bakkt hasn't been launched yet. And a lot of people have probably been thinking that, well, maybe Bakkt is dead in the water. Maybe Bakkt isn't going to happen. Maybe this really, really good story for Bitcoin has just gone belly up. And that could not be farther from the truth. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the development of Bakkt. In fact, we're going to be looking at the career opportunities that you can have with Bakkt, their hiring, and also a potential launch date. We're going to be talking about all of that and more in today's video, guys. So if you enjoyed today's video, definitely consider dropping a like, hitting that subscribe button, and smashing the notification bell, guys. It does help out the channel if you do it, and I would be appreciative if you did it. So without much further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. Bitcoin, at the time of recording this video, is currently trading around $3,550 or so. And as we can see here on the hourly chart, Bitcoin has essentially been trading sideways here over the last 5 days or so. Going on a week, Bitcoin has been in this consolidation pattern, in this trading channel in between $3,500 and $3,600, give or take. Now, one thing that's very interesting here is that Bitcoin has come up here and tried to get back up above this level of resistance at $3,575 about 4, 5, 6, 7 times, depending on how you count that. Multiple times Bitcoin has tried, and multiple times Bitcoin has failed. Now, that's not exactly a bullish piece of news for Bitcoin, but at the same time, Bitcoin recently has done the same thing with the support down here. At the moment, Bitcoin is very much locked into this trading channel, this sideways trading channel, and I do want to talk about that, but I'm going to dedicate a video to that, so watch out for tomorrow's video. I'm going to be talking about how much longer Bitcoin is going to be trading sideways and which direction Bitcoin will potentially see a breakout, be it bullish or be it bearish. We'll talk about that more in tomorrow's video, but today I do want to talk about Bakkt because, like I said earlier, Bakkt was honestly one of the most bullish news stories of 2018. I would say the most bullish news story of 2018, and Bakkt actually finally going ahead and launching will probably be, to date anyway, the most bullish news story coming out of Bitcoin in 2019 as well. So we're going to be talking about that in today's video. We will go ahead and do the crypto market recap because I like to get you guys up to date on what's going on in the markets every single day. Bitcoin across all exchanges is trading just a little under $3,600 with a total market cap of just under $63 billion. Down by about 1/3% today, nothing major. We don't see a ton of green in today's video. We do see PayPal that is sitting right here in the very middle. Nothing really going on there, but overall the market is ever so slightly more red than it is green. We see more red cryptocurrencies, and we do actually see double-digit losers in Aurora and Bugraya coin. I love seeing Bugraya coin down here or up at the top. Not because I have anything for or against Bugraya coin, but just because that is a very fun word to say. Bugraya, Bugraya, Bugraya. Go and say Bugraya 10 times. You'll be very happy with yourself. Anyway, I do believe that's all we wanted to cover here on CoinMarketCap, so let's go ahead and finally, without much further ado, get on into this news story. Now, guys, like I said earlier, if you're not familiar with Bakkt, I do highly recommend you go back on my channel, go back on other people's channels, and go to Google and research Bakkt, because if you are trying to get caught up on anything crypto related as far as cryptocurrency news goes, Bakkt is honestly one of the places you should be starting. It's very important that you have an understanding of what Bakkt is. Bakkt is going to be an institutional grade cryptocurrency, and like I said, primarily to start with a Bitcoin trading platform regulated by the US government. It is going to be put in place by Intercontinental Exchange. Intercontinental Exchange would be the parent company, if you will, of Bakkt, and Intercontinental Exchange owns many other traditional finance exchanges rather that you may be familiar with. One of them, of course, being the New York Stock Exchange. So we're not dealing with some upstart that we've never heard of before. We're not dealing with Tesla 15 years ago. We're not dealing with some kind of IPO. We're not dealing with something that has no backing behind it. Bakkt is being put together by the Intercontinental Exchange, which if you're looking for credibility in the traditional finance markets, you look to the Intercontinental Exchange and you look to the U.S. government. Those are the two places. And the second one, the U.S. government, that's kind of here or there. But the fact that Intercontinental Exchange is behind this gives this a lot of credence. So let's go ahead and read through this article here. It's not very long, so we're going to read through most of it, and we're going to be getting to the bottom of this. Bakkt, an up-and-coming crypto platform with visions of grandeur, has recently suffered regulatory setbacks, yet the Microsoft-backed initiative has continued to make strides, recently calling for an array of talents to join its side, which is what a lot of this news article is about. Now, of course, like I said earlier, Bakkt was supposed to launch in December, but for a couple of different reasons I'm not going to get into in this video, there were delays on Bakkt's launch, but Bakkt is backed, as you may have seen in the title. I couldn't help but make that pun. That was, I mean, they just put that out there. I kind of had to do that. But anyway, Bakkt has been delayed a couple of times, and most recently, Bakkt has actually been delayed because they've been awaiting CFTC approval. The Commodity Futures Trading Commission has to approve Bakkt because, of course, like we're talking about here, Bakkt is going to be a regulated exchange. It's not just a cryptocurrency exchange where you can go hire a team of developers, put an exchange together, and have hundreds of millions of dollars flowing through your exchange. This is going to be a regulated exchange, regulated by the U.S. government, and that's one of its major selling points. So Bakkt has to get approval by the CFTC, and that is one of the reasons why Bakkt has not actually gone live yet, is because they need that approval. And I actually talked about, I can't remember for the life of me which video it was. Of course, I upload a video every single day, so it'd be hard to find it. But about 2 months ago or so, I talked about how this might be a problem because it was coming up close to that deadline in December where Bakkt was supposed to launch. And down in an article somewhere, I found that Bakkt had actually not gotten CFTC approval yet. And the fact that it hadn't at the time had CFTC approval worried me and made me believe that they might get delayed. And that's exactly what's happened. Anyway, I got on a little bit of a tangent here, so let's go ahead and keep reading. On Tuesday morning, Bakkt, a U.S. headquarters crypto initiative that has the backing of NYSE, the New York Stock Exchange, parent of the Intercontinental Exchange, and Starbucks. Yes, Starbucks is another partner in this. Took to its well-followed Twitter feed to divulge a number of the company's activities, one of which being the fact that they are hiring. And I have their webpage up here. If you guys are interested in being a director of blockchain engineering, a blockchain developer, director of security engineering, a senior full-stack engineer, a mobile developer, software development engineer, director of finance, or institutional sales, and you want to work for Bakkt, and then come here, click one of these, and click apply now, and maybe you'll get a job with Bakkt. I was looking at what these pay. They pay pretty well. It's in the 6 figures for most of these, so definitely something you could look into if you want to get into the crypto business, as that for that to be your actual 9 to 5. Anyway, as revealed on Bakkt's website, the company is looking to hire 8 individuals for a handful of stints, including blockchain and security engineers, full-stack developer, and essential director of finance, as we just read, and an institutional sales team manager. It wasn't divulging what was being created, but it can be assumed that this recent push for talent is integral to Bakkt's raison d'etre, I'm butchering the French there, excuse me, of creating a scalable on-ramp into crypto for retail investors, merchants, and arguably most importantly, institutions. And that is important because, of course, whenever a new company is being formed, you have to hire talent. A company cannot be run by one person. The CEO is not doing the customer service. You have to have people that are actually hired and doing these things. So they have to start building this team before they can really launch, because of course they have to have that background. If they're going to be launching one of the largest cryptocurrency exchanges in the history of the space, then they're going to need a lot of talent. So even though they haven't launched yet, they are very confident that they're going to get CFTC approval, which we'll talk about here in a second. And they're also very confident that no matter what happens, they are going to be launching. Like I said, they have the backing. They are backed. You could say, I'm going to make that pun until it's not funny to me anymore, which is never going to happen. Anyway, they are backed by a lot of very major names. Like I said, ICE, the owner of the New York Stock Exchange, Starbucks is partnered with them, Microsoft has partnered with them, many other big names are partnered with them. Anyway, we're going to skip forward a little bit. As reported on Live Coin Watches previously, even amid a wider crypto industry turndown, with upstarts laying off hundreds and Bitcoin rapidly losing value on New Year's Eve, ICE revealed that Bakkt will be deferred. Bakkt's first product, physically backed Bitcoin futures, was slated to go live at 2018's end back in December. We talked about that. Yet after some deliberation and internal shortcomings, the vehicle's inaugural trading day was pushed back until late January, and again just recently. And this is where we get into the bit of drama going on with the CFTC. Not really drama. This mostly has to do with the fact that the U.S. government is currently shut down. But in an ICE-stamped document, it was divulged late January launch will be amended pursuant to the CFTC's process and timeline. So basically, it seems like they're ready to launch whenever the CFTC does actually finally give them approval. And while this statement was nebulous, considering that early 2019 was mentioned, along with the fact that the CFTC has been historically amicable with crypto, Bakkt isn't finished. Isn't Feeney. It seems that Bakkt is definitely going to be launching, and we can read through the rest of this article. There's a lot of very bullish stuff that we could talk about here in this article, but honestly, guys, I think you get the point. Bakkt, like I've talked about many times on the channel, is going to be one of the biggest news stories of 2019. It was the biggest news story of 2018, in my humble opinion. The Bitcoin bear market started at the very end of 2017, and all of 2018 was bearish for Bitcoin, but nevertheless, there was still a lot of bullish news coming out of the underlying intrinsic principles of Bitcoin, the fundamentals of Bitcoin that we were looking at. There was a lot of bullish news story, but we had to finish through this bear market. We had to finish and come all the way down to 85% retracement, down to $3,000, and we have to go through this accumulation phase. No matter how good the fundamentals look, the technicals are also going to make their mark, and they're going to make Bitcoin do what Bitcoin is going to need to do. But with that said, just because Bitcoin has been in a downtrend over the last year or more, actually doesn't mean that there's a lot of bearishness in Bitcoin. It doesn't mean that Bitcoin is dead. It doesn't mean, well, of course there is a lot of bearishness in Bitcoin, but that doesn't mean that the fundamentals are bearish. That doesn't mean that Bitcoin is dead. That doesn't mean that Bitcoin is going to zero, and that certainly doesn't mean that Bitcoin is never going back to $20,000. Bitcoin is going to go back to $20,000, and bullish news stories like Bakkt coming online in the next couple of months, and the continual development of this Bitcoin bear market moving into a sideways accumulation phase, finally into a bull market coming into the halving year over in 2020, on into 2021 and 2022, is going to see one of the biggest bull runs that we've ever seen in the history of Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency market. I am very confident of that. And like I said, these bullish news stories such as Bakkt coming online and getting millions and millions of institutional grade investors and institutions from the United States stock market is going to be absolutely amazing for Bitcoin. I forget exactly where it says it here, but it says down here that that Bitcoin is by no means dead, and the bear market is kind of just a joke. What bear market? There it is. Anyway, guys, I think I've made my point here. If you guys want a job at Bakkt, I do highly recommend coming over here and clicking this button, going to that link, and seeing if there's something you're interested in. It'd be pretty cool to get some of our subscribers down in working in Bakkt. If you guys can give me some, maybe you can give me some insider information. Don't do that because that's highly illegal. Anyway, guys, I'm rambling now. Tell me in the comment section down below what you think of this development. Do you think that Bakkt launching is going to be, honestly, one of the biggest news stories of 2019? Do you think it's not going to be that big of a deal? I would love to hear your opinions and your thoughts in the comment section down below. Anyway, guys, that is basically going to do it for today's video. I do want to thank each and every single one of you for watching as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.